But as you can see, I've got a bit of a fence behind me. I'm currently doing a working stay in a town in South Australia and decided to do a little bit of a different series to our normal videos, and this is just a bit of an intro to that so you know what's going on. I'm basically going to do a not how-tos but a sort of a learn with me on all things bushcraft and survival, I guess, because I've started to take I used to have a keen interest in it, and now I've started to pick that back up again with all the free time that I've had. So it's basically going to be a learn with me, and I'm going to put up videos as I learn new things and try new things, and I'm going to start off with really basic things and then work up from there. And today we're going to do how to make all natural cordage out of inner bark of various different trees. I'm using a eucalypt gum, which is not the most ideal, but it makes a decent natural cordage, and I'm going to attempt to use some old sinew that I have from a couple of years ago to make a smaller bit of cordage off that. So if you enjoy this video or have any tips and have done natural cordage before, different trees, pop it down in the comments and let's start a chat and learn along together. So this is a piece that I basically did a test piece to see if this would actually work, and that's a piece of the inner bark, so you don't want to use the outer bark. So the outer bark here, you can see it's super brittle, so it just breaks to pieces, but the inner bark has more of a fibrous, and it's far more flexible, but it's not flexible enough to make cordage out of that, obviously, because it's a big flat piece. But what we need to do is, that's the timber there, and then this part is the outer bark, and they reckon stringy bark is probably one of the best Australian trees, as the name goes, to make a natural string or a natural cordage. But this is the inner bark that we want, this piece here, and in summer that will just peel straight off in hotter climates, but in winter it starts to actually set more to the timber. So right now I can peel that off by hand, but in winter you'd have to either steam it or heat it up a little bit on the fire without obviously burning it, and then you'll be able to peel that off. So we'll cue the montage and I'll get another piece off, and then we'll go to the next step. Also, I didn't actually chop this branch off, it was donated to me. It had to be cut off the tree to make some clearance. So I've stripped that bark off. That big piece came off in one big bit, and then we got some decent length ones. So you can do this on a live tree, but remember to not take too much, otherwise because the inner bark is a protective layer, so when you take that off, the defenses of the tree are limited. So another way of helping that when you strip the bark is to mix some dirt and water and pack like a clay back over where the bark's been removed, and that helps with any insects so it protects the tree from insects and things like that would normally find it hard to get through the inner bark. Otherwise you've just got straight to the tree's timber there. So we've stripped that off, and then we'll go to the next process of basically we've got to bash it to break up the fibers. Not too hard, especially if you're using an axe, because of the sharp edges. I found for my test piece that if I hit it too hard, it actually cuts the fibers. So really soft with an axe, but if you're using like a timber mallet, you can probably go a little bit harder. But the idea is to break up the fibers and just make it a little bit more malleable, and it helps to strip thinner bits off. This rope's going to be quite thick because it's not the most ideal bark, but if you get stringy bark or things like that, you can make thinner rope, so that could be used for fishing line or things different, to make different tools and stuff. The flies are real bad here, whereas this could be used for lashing A-frame poles for shelters and things like that. So we'll kick into the next step. Figured out if you go that way, it strips it a bit better than going that way. Alright, so I hope you can see this. We've broken up the fibres, and now they're all. The issue with this tree is the fibres are quite short, so I have to keep the lengths a bit thicker, alright? But they're really soft and malleable after I've hammered them all out gently. Like, really soft and malleable, alright? So what we do is get a piece, twist it, fold it over. Now I'm going to put in the links a couple of people who basically I watch to learn how to do this, so you can go and watch them do that. And as I said before, I'm no expert. This is like my second time making natural cordage. The first time was the test with this stuff, alright? So what we want to do is we want to twist the top. It's a bit short there. And then do one turn, and twist that, and then turn it, and then do a twist, and do a half turn, twist, and basically anything you can, materials that you can get that are strong and fibrous, you can make cord out of them. Obviously, some of them have longer strands like stringy bark, so you can make way thinner cord. Like that's pretty thick, but that, if you can get some long strands of this, that could be used for various different things. All right. So we twist. So you like that's a short strand. Get rid of some of those really short ones. Twist the top, and then do one rotation. So now the bit that you've just twisted is on the bottom. Twist that and go down. Right. But we're going to undo one because you need to leave about that much. All right. And then we're going to get another piece. That one's actually quite thin. That one's quite good. Might be too thin for this. and then you want to basically have that in a loop. Hope you can see that, like that, and then twist that new piece in, that extended piece in the top, and then twist, and then twist the top piece and rotate down, and twist the top piece and rotate down, and twist the top and rotate down, and over again, twist. Now every time you put a new little bit in, it is going to get a bit fatter, but that's okay. Twist that down, twist that down, twist that down, same thing until we get down. So that's starting to get decent length. Down, twist, and down. Right, so now you get the idea. So I'm going to continue to leave a couple of inches. As I said, the longer stuff you can leave, you can get way longer cord before you have to replace, but this is what we've got, so we're giving it a go. My little bit of cordage. Obviously you keep going if you want a longer bit. But yeah, so that's the idea, as you saw in the time lapse. And then you should be able to get a cordage that you can pulling relatively hard on that, and then if you made a longer bit, you could obviously get that a lot longer. So that worked quite well for the first time, so I'm going to practice that and try a couple of other different species and maybe try and make some thinner, longer cordage. So even for that small amount of cordage, it's actually flexing the paddles when I try and break it, so it's pretty strong, and that way too. So that shows you how strong you can make natural cordage. Thanks for coming along as I sort of learn new skills, and that was the skill of rope making, natural cordage.